morning. Welcome to another episode of the Eco Insider TV. If you see me looking up here, it's for my family on Instagram. Down here, my family on YouTube. Whether you've been thrown into planning events your entire life, you can always count on some challenges happening. Events, no matter how well they're scripted, there's always something that can go awry. This show is about talking about those things, unpacking them, but giving you some tools to combat them, like little treasure trove of eco-focused solutions for events. My name is Melody Dixon, and I'm the CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco-focused events. I plan events for people who are steeped in all things sustainability. It's in their home life, it's in their business, and it's in their events. So I align with that. So they reach out to me because we're on the same page. I also support clients who have no idea about sustainability. They're aware that there's some leakage in the funds going on. They're seeing an increase in buying copy paper or water bill or energy bill going up, or lots of waste at the end of the event, and they're trying to figure out what can they do to stop the bleeding. So that's when they reach out to me, because again, I am aligned with that. I look for ways to not only save my clients money, but also love on the planet as well. All right. Now, not everybody's familiar with the definition of sustainability, so we're just going to unpack that just a little bit. Sustainability is just meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That means our needs could be the need to start a business, design new clothing, design furniture so we can sell it, start a garden for our wellness practice, invent something because you see a need in the marketplace. Those are our needs, and we need resources to go ahead and meet those needs. But we get to do so intentionally so that the resources aren't depleted in our lifetime. We have access to it for the rest of our lives, all our kids' lives, our grandkids' lives, and people, family, friends, 10 generations deep can have access to the same resources we have today so that they too can invent and create and design and do all the things with the resources. Now, there are three pillars to sustainability. The first one is the environment. We get to reduce the use of what we're already using, reuse what we have, and recycle. I like to squeeze in a fourth in this category. I call it upcycling. Not a new concept, but I think it goes well with the first pillar. And it's taking what would be deemed junk that is on its way to the landfill and prevent it, save it by transforming it into a whole new thing that gets a whole new life cycle. This show that used to come on HGTV called Flea Market Flip. It was a competition, and it could be, husband and wife against husband and wife, or siblings, or cousins, or college friends, whatever it is, and they're competing against each other. They get a theme, and they get to go through the market and buy things that connect with the theme. And then they transform the things like old bookshelves, old wheels, old strollers, old tables, and convert them into something beautiful and artistic, and gives it a whole new use and a whole new lifestyle, thus delaying its inevitable journey into the landfill. Next is economics. Yes, to initially become eco-focused, it may cost you. Like on my journey, when I was just drawn to it and saw how it made sense and how it complemented how I was already living, I'm like, yes. So I went online and I researched everything that I could about an eco-focused way of living. And I eat plant-based. I take care of myself. I use all natural products everywhere from head to toe. And the eco-focused lifestyle kind of complemented that, because I eat lots of plants. And instead of throwing it in the trash can, I investigated options for composting because I do garden. I'm like, why am I throwing this in the trash when it can help to regenerate the soil in the garden? So I investigated composters and the process of composting and what that means and what that does to the soil and different kinds of compost bins. And I settled on the one I have. It's like a barrel. It has two slots, one with a plus sign and one with a clock. The plus sign means that's where you add the veggies. The clock means don't add. It's already full and now it's curing. It's a good like 3 months or so for all the veggies and everything to kind of mush down and become nutrients for the soil. But it took me time, which is a resource, to investigate that. It took me money to buy the compost bin, and it took more time again for it to become a practice. Now, every time I eat something and the peels and the shells and the seeds from whatever I'm cooking, I make sure it's in a container and then I take it out to the composter. Now, sometimes when I just started, I would forget I have the composter and take it to the trash. I'm like, gosh, I already emptied it in the trash. But it took some time, and time is a resource. It took money to buy the bin from Amazon. It took more time to do more research. Just all those things are resources, but now it's a way of being. And so now I'm seeing the savings in not only my time and my energies, but the soil in the garden is just lovely. And I feel like I guess spiritually in my mind, it's like a cycle. I get the plants from the earth. I eat what I want to eat and what's left. I put it in the compost. It goes back into the soil to nourish the soil. And it's like a cycle, like a mutually beneficial relationship where nobody's getting over on the other. There's no competition. There's always enough and just all this lovely, beautiful feeling of just living. It feels really, really good. But yes. Hey, good morning, Crystal, Lady of Harp. Right now, we're at the start of the show and we're talking about the 3 pillars of sustainability. So, we talked about the environment, which is where we reduce, reuse, and recycle. And we're at the point now where we're talking about economics. And I was sharing with everyone that, of course, if it's eco focused, it gets to make you money or save you time. Those are the kind of resources that you benefit from. So I was sharing how my lifestyle, I eat plant-based, I garden, and I used to throw the peels and things from the veggies I eat into the trash. And then I just somehow got, I guess, gravitated to learning about soil regeneration and composting. So it took me time to research all I could about what is composting, what how to start it, what it looks like, the benefits of the juice that comes out of the compost. That's like they call it a tea, and the veggies. What kind of compost bin would be the best one. So it took me time to do that. It also took me money to buy it from Amazon, and I got the one that's like a barrel on 2 tripod stands, like 2 triangle stands, and you can spin it around once you put the veggie scraps in. One side has a plus sign for that says add. The next has a little clock symbol, and it says it's full and it's curing. So it's the time is like it needs like a good 3 months for it to get from veggie scraps to nutritious nutrients that benefit the soil. So it did take me time, it did take me money, time to learn, time to investigate, money, all the things. And now I'm seeing the benefits of it because now I'm saving money because I'm not having to go to the local hardware store and buy compost all the time because I make my own now. And in my spirit, it feels good because I like use natural things from head to toe on my body. Natural, natural. I'm talking like this morning I made my own moisturizer from coconut oil, lavender blossoms, and shea butter, and I mix it all together. And it goes in my hair, on my skin. It's great if you're giving somebody a massage, any dry patches. Just it's you know, it speaks to my life. And composting complements that. So not only does it save me money and save me time now, it makes my spirit feel good. So if it's eco focused, it gets to have like a holistic approach as far as benefits. For somebody who's not in the plant based lifestyle, let's say you're talking about your bill at home, your energy bill. If you take out all the fluorescent light bulbs and you put in LED, well, you have to figure out where'd you get the awareness from. You spend some time maybe looking online or talking to people, and time is a resource. Then you maybe took more time to either go to the hardware store or look online as to the best style of LED lights that fits the aesthetics of your house. Then you may order it from online, or you may go to the local hardware store, search the aisles, try to find somebody to help you. Finally find it, go to the cash register, pay for it, and drive back home. That's time, that's gas, that's money, and then the energy to change out all the light bulbs in your house. Even if they're not blown, like if they're still good, you still remove them. Now, all those are resources that you use. Now, over time, you'll see your light bill or your energy bill getting to be something that's less than you used to have. But to start off, there's that expending of energy, but it's totally worth it. The third is social responsibility, where we get to love our neighbors as ourselves. If we know that something is happening with someone, somebody died, or they're divorced, or they're just going through a depression, we get to create resources for them to get support. We get to have parks and beaches that are clean so people can have access to them and spend some good time. Uh, Homeless people get fed, they get clothing. Women who are abused get some kind of a shelter, a way to escape with their children. All these things are part of social responsibility for everyone. So we get to take care of people that way. So those three pillars, environment, economics, and social responsibility, is like a 360 way of taking care of your life. And you'll see the benefits over time for sure. Today, we're going to unpack how to love the process, the event planning process. And it's not for everyone, especially if you're working on your own. It's easy to do things your way. But as your team grows, and this is for people who are in the industry, as your team grows, a process will be your savior. Even if you're just like a home person who entertains a lot, if you have people that work with you all the time for whatever your entertaining needs are, if you have a process in place, it's going to make things easier. If you don't have a process in place to do your events, it's going to be harder. So I'm going to share a story with you. I spoke with one of my friends yesterday, and she was sharing that she worked with, and I guess this lady's more like an event decorator. Yes. This lady gets frequent business. She advertises on Google, and so she gets, clients pretty frequently. Sometimes in a day, she has like 2 or 3 jobs that she's doing. But she does such a horrible job that these are only one-time businesses, one-time encounters with clients, and they leave her bad reviews. The only reason why she's still getting the business or getting business is because she advertises. And it's easy to just get one, I guess, a new client every time because they don't know. They don't, and not everybody will take the time to read your reviews before they hire you. So they see the pretty pictures and they're like, yes, I'm going to hire her. And then she doesn't deliver in the way that she promised. One of the examples my friend gave is that there was, I think it was like an intimate dinner at somebody's house, I think for like 40 people. And the planner had to fly out somewhere. And so she asked my friend to support her. She's like, the friend is like, my friend is like, I typically, start the process a week in advance and try to get everything together, make sure everything's organized. And, that's her process. A week in advance, decorations are made, everything is there so that on the event day, she goes there and just places. There's no work being done. This particular event decorator will always make the centerpieces on site. And that takes up so much of her time that she's not really able to get a bird's eye view of what's happening with the decorations, with what her people are doing. She's focused on creating those centerpieces. So sometimes she forgets the linens. At the last event, I think she also didn't have the centerpieces or all the parts for the centerpieces. And my friend had to kind of create something on the fly. That just says this lady does not have a tried and true process. There's so many moving parts. Like Crystal was saying yesterday, there's so many moving parts to an event that really, if you're not organized, things can fall through the cracks. So my friend experienced just a horrible time supporting this lady. And this lady had flown to New York because I think a family member died and she had to show up for, her family. But at the same time, she had booked the event and she couldn't not have the event happen because it's not the client's fault that her family member died. So she asked my friend to support, and it was just a bad experience. My friend was angry because all the things the lady said was done, where my friend just needs to place it on the table, was not the truth. And then the client was unhappy because what the lady promised to deliver, she didn't. And the decoration style and everything that he wanted was not what was presented. So we're going to unpack the process, and having a strong process can really support in not only enhancing your brand if you're a planner, enhancing your client experience, but happy customers and repeat business are totally a thing when you have a process in place. The process makes sure that everything that's supposed to happen at a particular time happens, so that you have not only a beautiful event, but a logistically sound event. So, tip number one. If there is one way to do something, you'll be able to make sure it was done and know that it was completed the correct way. I'll read that again. If there is one way to do something, you'll be able to make sure it was done and know that it was completed in the correct way. And here is my story on that now. When I do floral arrangements as well, and I consult with my floral vendor, my wholesale floral vendor. We talk it through. I tell her the look and feel. She tells me what's going to be in season during the time that I'm having the event. So when you get flowers that are in season, not only are you working with nature, which is my favorite, but it's also easier on your pocket because you're not going above and beyond to growers who are growing things out of season. That takes more care and it costs more. It naturally, if something is naturally in season, it's working with nature, it's easy, it's light, it's natural. You're not going above and beyond to get something that's, like mango season is mango season. That's it. It's beautiful to look at, it's juicy and tasty. If you get mangoes out of season, the color is not the same and the flavor is not the same, and you can totally tell that they really did some extra things to have the mango fruit when it wasn't its season. So for sure, I work with my florists on that because that's what they do. They do flowers all day, so they know. So I lean into the expert. Once I get the flowers, I will typically get it a good 2 days at max before the event. And when I take it to my office, I snip them on the diagonal. I put them in buckets of water with the plant food and leave it overnight so they can drink in as much of the nutrients as possible. The hydrangeas look big and fluffy. The roses are big and opened. Like I don't have to manually open anything. It just opened and it looks so full, and they look healthy. And then on the so that's if I do 2 days. So the day before the event now is when I make the arrangements. So I will make the bucket of plant food water, put the floral foam, and let it naturally sink and soak everything up. Because if you push it down, that's going against the process and you're going to force air into the foam. And so when you stick the flowers in, the flowers may be stuck into an area that has a pocket of air. It's going to dry out the flowers and it's going to wilt. So you put it in the water and let it slowly sink at its own pace. And it doesn't take a long time. While it's sinking, you can go ahead and start cutting the flowers to the size that you want. That's my process. My florist, when I have like a huge event and I don't want to do the flowers, my florist has a similar process, but she's a florist. She has like a store and everything. So she has refrigerators and just walk-ins and just like a huge setup. Now, if I hire somebody that doesn't have a process of treating the flowers up until the point of making the floral arrangements, the flowers are not going to look the best they could for the client. They're going to wilt, they're going to die and fade and just not look beautiful. In fact, my florist, when we did that backyard event the other day, she said, spritz the flowers with water if it gets too hot. Not the ones under the shelter, but the ones that are a little bit out in the sun, spritz them. And it keeps them hydrated. I'm like, I did not know that. So she has a process in place at every step of the way of treating the flowers so her best arrangement is always presented to the client. Unlike that decorator who had no process and didn't follow through, the event just wasn't the best and the client will never use her again. So make sure you have a process so that when the process is done, you can rest assured that it's done in excellence. Let's just say that. Tip number two, when the process breaks down, the system falls apart. My process for events is it's almost like a symphony is what I always liken it to. I am the first one in the venue and I make sure that the venue manager gives me the space clean and ready. We do a walkthrough together. We take pictures of every flaw in the facility. And she's like, okay, that was already there. That was already there. And then I arrange for my flooring people to come in. And then the audiovisual people, if they have to build a truss and staging and things like that. Then the event furniture. Then the linen people. Then all the place settings go down. And then the centerpiece goes in, right? In that order, so that it flows like a well-oiled machine. And there's nothing that is left out of place. Now, there may be times when vendors aren't able to come when I schedule them, but I always have a plan B. And we're going to talk about that next. Check the process of tasks assigned to your team. So if I assign my staff, my process is, okay, set up people, arrive at this time, make sure that they greet the vendor with the particular thing, walk them over to the space of where they need to go, show them where to put the thing, and support them as much as possible. If I don't have my people in place, then I'm it. So I'm with the staging people consulting over here. Then I have to go greet this vendor and bring them in and show them where to set up their thing. Then they're asking about outlets and restroom and all the things. So in order for my process to work as the planner who has the bird's eye view of everything, I have team. I play team 100%. I depend on my team. So while I'm doing this with the keynote or the client, then my team is over here receiving the vendors and taking them to their spots. And I don't have to worry about it because I assigned it to somebody who is capable. Now, number 4, update your process as needed and make sure to train others on your process. Oftentimes, especially if the event is a little bit more complicated, I'll have a lot. So I have a little get together when we get to the venue and say, okay, you're doing this, we're doing this, da da da, run through the timeline. Any questions? Go. If it's an event that has more involved than that, then we have a longer meeting where we talk about, we run through the timeline and run through the things with the lighting and the music and who needs to be next to the DJ to make sure things go well and who needs to be with the audiovisual team to make sure what's on the teleprompter is going well, and questions, and be the go-between the keynotes and the AV people. Should something happen, I have a staff member there. And we, adjust the length of the meeting based on the complexity of the event. And I train, and then I empower. If there's some, I guess, leeway for error if it's a new situation, but they're always monitored and there's always feedback. But once they've passed the part or the time for training, then they're expected to be accountable for the task that's handed to them. And if something happens, something new happens, and I update my process, which there's always ways to update. One of the things I used to do when I just started, I used to have a paper agenda and we used to be on the phone talking a lot. Now there is Zoom and Teams and Google Meet, and then there's the WhatsApp group for each event, and there's communications back and forth. So I'd update my listing and information in Canva, upload it in the WhatsApp group, and they get something professionally presented and updated all the time. It's just on the phone. No paper needed to be printed, none. So I'm open to updating the process, but I train others on the process once it's updated. So if they need information, they know where to go. Right to the WhatsApp group, it's all there. And they can follow the train. This is what was happening. There's a change here. This keynote speaker is now speaking at this time, or whatever it is, and it's updated, and its most recent conversation is the most updated. Now, it's a lot to manage. It's having a process and sticking to it and refining the process and updating it and training on it to make sure that your events are flawless is mandatory. It's mandatory. There's no half-assing it. There's no schlepping it together, because people are paying their money. And if you don't deliver, like this planner that I was sharing with you at the start of the story that my friend worked with, not planner, she's a decorator. She has angry customers and bad reviews because of it. But she's still getting business because she's advertising on Google. And where the ads run, sometimes people aren't looking at the Google reviews. So she's still getting customers, but they're only a one and done. They're not seeking her out for next year or referring her. And that's so, so important for entrepreneurs. Referrals are everything. And repeat customers are everything, because those two ways of getting business are free. You do a good job, you give your client the card and ask for referrals, give them the tools they need to refer. Like at the end of my time with a client, I'll text them like a digital business card that they can forward to other people. And I get calls, and I get callbacks for the same event for next year. Like this company picnic I did last year, October, they reached out to me again for this year, October. And now we're starting earlier because now they know they can depend on me, and they're like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So on and so forth. And I'm keeping that client. And She even asked me for, so what are you sent me, like I also send like a almost like a info sheet of some other services I provide with a clickable link to the reviews of customers who have experienced those services. And Crystal, that may be something you want to think about. If you get video reviews from your customers, upload it to your YouTube channel. And if you create like a PDF document of your HARP services, you can put a link to client testimonial that takes the client to your YouTube channel that shows maybe your performance at that event and maybe the client review as well. You can even put a link to your Google review if the client gave you a review there. That way, customers, when they want to experience you, okay, she does this particular service. Here's a link that shows what this service looks like, what kind of music, the atmosphere, all the things she brings. And then also, here's what some people who have used the service thought of her. And then they click on it. They're like, okay, I'm hiring her for the wedding, for the Mother's Day, all the things, I'm hiring her. And that's also a forwardable, I don't know if that's a word, but it's a forwardable document that they can say, you know what, I know this lady who is a beautiful harpist and she's so talented. Here's her info sheet. And then they too will click on the link and watch the video. So that shares you, the experience of you to the new person, but it also gets you your views on your YouTube channel. So it's a win-win for everyone. And as they keep sharing it and as more people click, your views go up, your watch times go up, and maybe your likes. And before you know it, YouTube is sending your information to other people who are looking for music for weddings or funerals or Mother's Day or women's brunch or all the things. All right. So, Crystal, get on it. Canva. Now, for clients, all this is the behind the scenes of it all the logistics of it all. And when you hire a professional event planner, a professional wedding planner, you don't have to worry about any of it. You just focus on what you need to focus on. Focus on being the bride or the groom. Focus on being the mom to be if it's a baby shower. Focus on being the host of your event if it's a cocktail party or you're doing a corporate event. You're the CEO. Focus on your speech. Leave all the planning and the details and the event logistics to us. For more information, Instagram, the link is in the bio. YouTube, the link is in the description of this live. Click on it, it takes you to the website. Click on the event packages and you'll see the pro event package. This is my hashtag hire it done for you. We talk about the type of event, how many people you're inviting, what you want to see, what you want your guests to feel when they walk in the space, what your return on investment is that you're looking for, whether it's attendee engagement or brand awareness or sales or grow your email list, whatever is your desired return on investment, tell that to me. I will take that along with your budget and put things in place to make it happen for you. And at the end, you'll see compared to last year, this is the number of people on your email list. This is what we've added after the event. And then we may even give you strategies in place to figure out connecting with the people from the event. You know, how to continue to spread brand awareness of the event after the event. We have all those tools for you. So click the link, let's talk. And the website is myproeventplanners.com. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Melody Dixon, CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco-focused events. My email address is info@myproeventplanners. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow when we tackle another event planning mistake and their solution. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Crystal, my love, thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next one.